This is like the girl that has an ulterior motive. Will she give you her real name when you meet her? What is her real name? With a powdery, sugary goodness with a little bit of depth? Well, yes, if you spray her, you will. But look at that mist. Oh, and it's so delightful. This is a fragrance that almost gets into your soul, and I won't keep you in suspense about how mysterious it is. It issues you all an invitation to talk about the notes, and it issues you an invitation to like a masquerade party. That's what I think about it when she is popped out of this lovely display box. Isn't that wonderful? I just think I love to keep my perfumes sometimes in their boxes. Keeps them in such pristine condition, doesn't it? Okay, if it doesn't, just agree with me anyways. Oh, by the way, would you like, share, and subscribe? That would be wonderful, because I think I'm going to get a little bit carried away with this fragrance. So I might forget to tell you to do that at the end, but I would really appreciate it. The release of this fragrance is just perfect for this time of year. It's perfect for fall, Halloween, spooky type of coziness. The plum opens it up with the anise, which I love, both in cooking and in fragrances. It also has cinnamon, rum, peach, and birch. That's a lot of confusing notes, isn't it? And that is just like the fragrance itself. It's kind of elegant and chic. Those are the top notes that I named: the plum, anise, cinnamon, rum, peach, and birch. To me, that's like the cloak on a cape, the exterior. The kiss is plum with rich spices, a little bit of rum, an innocent peach, and an unexpected smoky birch. This is absolutely smoky, spicy, and intoxicating. I know you don't look at a birch tree and think smoky. I certainly don't. I think there would be something wrong with us if we did. But in here, it just happens to work. And underneath that exterior cloak, she has a heart of whipped cream, raspberry, mate, sage, which sounds unusual. I love sage in a fragrance, and also powdered sugar. And I think of the mid notes of being like that red velvet that fully lines the inside of the black cape. And I'm probably thinking of that because you have this black box with the red lettering, and then you have the wonderful presentation inside. So I guess that's why I'm kind of thinking of it as a cloak. Probably the time of year too, because I do love to decorate for the fall, most especially Halloween. But the sweet whipped cream and raspberry gives us that silky, fluffy fruitiness all in her heart. The whipped cream and raspberry is airy and light. It's also sweet, earthy, with a mate, and also that herbaceous sage. And as I mentioned, I love the sage in a fragrance, which is some people find to be more of a masculine note. I know that I first encountered sage in Parfums de Barley, Sedberry, which they discontinued, which I think is a huge mistake, but they didn't ask me. But sage is in here, and maybe that's why I love it so much too. You also have that sweetness of the powdered sugar, and to me, I picture it as a dusting. Kind of, it greets my nose like a dusting of a light sprinkling of powdered sugar that is just the perfect amount. If you get the gift to touch her soul, which is the base notes, you will find benzoin, amber, moss, patchouli, tobacco, vetiver, and musk. We have a whole host of fragrances, but they're blended so well, and it all really comes together very nicely. The soul is velvety, secretive, and it calls to you, inviting you to get closer. You will not get burned, and you will not crash upon the rocks if you listen to Siren's Veil. Benzoin also gives us that warm, resinous type of quality, and I feel that it's also a little bit of light sweetness in my skin on the dry down, which just adds to the depth. And of course the benzoin does add that lasting quality we love, at least I do. The moss may give a slightly smoky quality to match that birch in the top note. And I also detect a barely discernible hint of woodiness, but it's very light on my skin, the woody quality. So if you don't like woody fragrances, you may still like Siren's Veil. The tobacco is very smooth and velvety, and you do get the tobacco. I do on my skin, but it's very light. And the vetiver doesn't appear as sharp in here as it does in a lot of vetiver heavy fragrances, such as Ormond Jane's Vetiveria, which is beautiful, but it was just a little bit too strong for me. I guess go figure, the name was Vetiveria. But this is beautiful, and the musk in here is quite sexy. You get to experience each distinctive layer of this complex dream. It's long-lasting and has a very strong projection. Those are two words I don't always find in perfumes, but those are two of my favorite words, along with sage. The long-lasting quality and the strong projection. It is either first or second in my Tomavicci collection, and I have all of their fragrances. I just have a couple in a travel decant, but they are just top notch, and certainly you should try them. I did not see where this was available in a 10 ml yet, but it will be, I'm sure. All of their other fragrances are. You can also get a very nice sample set in a nice display box, so it makes for a good gift also. 3 words to describe Tomavicci's new Siren's Veil would be intoxicating, mysterious, and unforgettable. Beautiful girl, beautiful projection. I do have a dedicated review on the House of Tomavicci and what they have at that time, about a year ago when I filmed it. And I also have a dedicated review to Opulenta Oud. And that's when I found that was kind of distasteful. It was extremely strong in the beginning, and then when it came in October, I was so glad nobody bought it on Mercari, because I would have been really disappointed if they had bought it, even though it had been listed for a couple of months. But it's a beautiful fragrance as well, and this is a gorgeous girl that from my collection will never appear on Mercari. Beautiful Siren's Veil. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will look forward to seeing you in my next fragrance video. And if you get the chance, or you know a friend like I do who received this already, why don't you go over and take a sniff and let me know what you think in the comments. And if you have other Tomavicci fragrances, I would love to know which ones are your favorites. And if you would like to see a ranked list, I'll be happy to film that as well. Thank you for joining me, and I will look forward to seeing you in my next fragrance video, my fragrance friends. And in the meantime, keep smelling divine. Goodbye.